The story begins with Hiroisen, the most popular girl in the class. She was a class muse, and for one boy in particular, it was love at first sight. He couldn't hold back his feelings for her anymore, as the emotions were just too strong. Before he even realized it, he had already acted. With his heart racing, he placed a love letter in her locker. It was the only way he could finally express his feelings to her. However, his romantic attempt ended in immediate defeat. The very next day, he was rejected, and the one who delivered the news was Hiroi-san's friend. The girl called him over with a serious expression, holding the letter he had written. She then explained that Hiroi was very uncomfortable with that kind of situation. Heartbroken, he remained alone in the empty classroom. He tried to convince himself that he had already known this would happen. After all, she was a class muse, the most admired girl by everyone, and he saw himself as nothing more than a bench warmer on the baseball team, someone insignificant. He never thought she would even notice his existence. But even knowing all of this, the rejection still hurt deeply. That's when he saw her passing by outside with her friends. His face filled with pain upon seeing her, and only one name echoed in his mind: Hiroisen. Suddenly, Hiroisen's friend returned and slammed her hand on his desk. She demanded to know why he wasn't giving up since he had already been rejected. She called him pathetic and told him to stop looking at her friends with those teary eyes. The boy, Tsunaki, could only say he understood, calling the girl by her name, Ichizono. Trying to escape the situation, Tsunaki gathered his things to go home. He promised he wouldn't bother Hiroisen anymore. Ichizono remained silent, simply watching him hurry out of the classroom. To his surprise, Ikono called him back, asking him to wait. She then criticized his approach, saying that sending a love letter was way too delicate. If he really wanted to win a girl over, he should have been bolder, like a real man. Saki was shocked, replying that if he had done something like that, he would have been arrested on the spot. He tried to defend his actions, explaining how much effort he had put into writing that letter. Ixono then revealed the truth. Hayoi hadn't even read the letter. She explained that he had been rejected with total disregard, and accepting that would make it easier for him to move on. She then started listing absolutely everything she thought was wrong with him. His hair, his clothes, even his height were harshly criticized. She complained about how he always told the same stories, his low grades, and his messy desk, his loud voice when talking to friends, the way he acted around girls, and even how he held his chopsticks were pointed out as flaws. The list of shortcomings seemed endless, leaving poor Tsunaki completely frozen under the verbal assault. After unloading all of that, Ichizono suddenly stopped, as if she had lost track. She tried to remember what they had been talking about a bit awkwardly. Then, with a smile, she concluded that it was only natural for him to be rejected, and so he didn't need to worry about it. Finally, Saki couldn't take it anymore and exploded in a cry of pure anguish. He turned to her completely frustrated and asked why she had to go so far with her criticisms. Ichizono was surprised by his reaction, arguing that she was just trying to cheer him up. She even added his anger to the list of flaws and confessed that she only got involved because she felt responsible. Tsunaki tried to calm down, accepting that there was nothing he could do about the letter not being read. With tears in his eyes, he explained the real reason behind his pain. Hayoi didn't have to send a friend to reject him. If it was going to end that way, he wished she had done it herself. Ichizono, annoyed at seeing him cry again, suddenly seemed to have an idea. She said that if he was that frustrated, then he should surpass Hayoi herself. Pointing at him with conviction, she shouted that he needed to make Hayoi regret rejecting him. The goal was to make her think she should have accepted that love letter. But Tsunaki still looked lost, wondering how he was supposed to do something like that. That's when Ichizono offered a solution, since he was part of the baseball team. Hiroi liked athletes, so he should work hard to show his cool side during the games. Tsunaki tried to make excuses, saying he was just a bench warmer and that it felt strange to put in so much effort just for revenge. She cut him off, yelling that she didn't care and that if he kept thinking like that, he'd stay that way for the rest of his life. She then admitted that Hiroi had in fact been insincere with him. But as she walked away, she delivered the final blow, saying that someone as spineless as him wasn't even worth rejecting properly. Her words hit him hard. That was the moment he realized just how pathetic he had been acting. From that day on, something completely changed inside. He began training for baseball with a level of determination and fury no one had ever seen before. His teammates were stunned by the transformation. They wondered why this boy, who used to be so bad, was suddenly putting in so much effort. Watching the fire in his eyes, one teammate made a spot-on guess. It was almost like Tsunaki had someone he desperately needed to take revenge on. Tsunaki's dedication was so intense that he destroyed all the extra balls during practice. The coach finally noticed the boy who was always working hard. He didn't even stop in the rain, running tirelessly and showing incredible grit. His teammates admired him even though they weren't sure how long he could keep up that insane pace. But the effort was paying off. He began delivering amazing performances in games. His teammates now saw him as a valuable player and even joked that he was following their advice and without anyone knowing he had a secret spectator. Hidden behind the fence, Ichizono watched his growth closely. Then came the big moment, the day of the important game. Tsunaki took his position and with all his strength made a perfect hit. The crowd erupted in celebration. In the stands, Hayoi cheered with excitement, completely impressed by his play. Beside her, Ichizono watched in shock, unable to believe what she was seeing. His hit was so good, it secured the team's victory. His teammates welcomed him like a hero, congratulating him for the game-winning play. The team captain was already looking forward to the future, excited about finally avenging last year's loss. Tsunaki thanked them but apologized as well. He promised to keep working hard, but in his mind his goal was different. The person he truly wanted revenge on wasn't the opposing team. Sometime after the game, Ichizono showed up in front of Tsunaki. With a smile on her face, she handed him a letter saying it was a gift from Hiroi. Tsunaki was in shock, unable to react. She explained that it was more of a fan letter than a love letter, congratulating him on his success. With a satisfied look, she asked if he felt better now. After all, he had achieved his goal and gotten revenge in the most impressive way possible. She told him that now he could choose whoever he wanted and even offered to personally deliver a rejection to Hiroi. Tsunaki, on the other hand, looked flustered and tried to explain that fame wasn't the reason he had worked so hard. Ichizono laughed at his response, insisting that she couldn't fool her. She confidently said she knew the truth all along. His true motivation was to get revenge on Hayoi. Seeing his reaction, Ichizono began to walk away, advising him to wait a few days before making any big decisions. She said he deserved that time, but with one final glance, she reminded him to act like a real man next time and never respond with a letter again. He didn't need words to give his answer. Following her advice, he finally acted like a man. In one swift and decisive move, he hugged her from behind. Ichizono froze completely, her eyes wide in pure surprise. Speechless, she called him an idiot, her face blushing red. She tried to say he was mistaken, that he was going after the wrong person, but he refused to let go. Now fully in control of the situation, he said he would only release her on one condition, that she finally admit he was cool. She teased him with one final challenge. With their faces very close, she gave him a kiss on the cheek. Then she explained her reason. If he didn't let go, she wouldn't be able to turn and kiss him properly. At that moment, somewhere nearby, a friend was lost. Ichizono gave him one last playful tease, wearing a victorious smile.